Today, I'm joined by an artist, a fellow Connecticut native.
Yes,
Connecticut
sir.
native, dude. Mildly Brown, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Where are you born and raised, dude?
I was born in Norwalk, Connecticut. Shout out to Whack.
That's what I thought, dude, because I was about to say Stanford, because I've seen you at a lot of Stanford events, but I was like, yo, I don't think he's born in Stanford, dude. We're neighbors, though.
Yeah, Stanford's my cousin. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Norwalk's cousin. Like we're connected in a way. There was beef. I don't know how far that goes back. I never really felt that way, although I did get robbed in Stanford a couple times.
Damn, dude, let's get right into that story, dude. I mean, if we're going to be talking about that, that's what we're talking about. How'd you get robbed in Stanford?
I feel like it was more of a finessing, you know? Like I gave an item, a certain kind of item to another party, and
Okay.
that party took that item and they then proceeded to run.
What was this, like the crystal skull from like the temple? Like what type of item was this, dude?
It was an item. It's an item. It's a consumable item.
A consumable item. So you had a consumable item, you gave it to somebody.
They were supposed to give me currency, but then they
The good old 5-finger discount, the one-way
Yeah.
transaction.
I'm not the chasing kind.
Well, you know, there's a lot how would you describe yourself to somebody who's never heard of you?
I guess just a very obsessive and focused and versatile artist who will never cease to surprise you.
What's the craziest thing that you've ever done that comes to mind?
Like musically,
Just in general in life right now.
wow, that's actually really difficult.
Well, I'm just trying to be surprised, dude. I want to know, like, what's a crazy story that we wouldn't know right off rip?
Well, wow. I'd be such a present moment guy, you know? Like, that's what's crazy. So many things will happen in front of me and to me and that I'm involved in, and I just, okay. Like, every single day, I'll have like 50 to 100,000 people in my freaking live stream, and then I just turn that shit off and just go right back to playing some Fortnite on my couch.
I'm going to run through it. Let's get the Mildly Brown story. So, born in Norwalk, when do you get into music?
I got into music. My whole family was pretty musical. My mom plays guitar. My dad started playing bass when he was like 50. So that's where a bass came into my house. I learned how to play guitar because I could always sing. My sister used to always sing to me as a child. Like, she would literally like put me on her feet and like dance around the house when I was a kid. Shit was lit. And she had a beautiful voice. She still does, honestly. And so I always would sing. I would sing to like myself in private. I would hide. I was very like shy. I don't know. For some reason, as a kid, you think singing is a feminine thing to do. I don't know why this is. And, you know, even if that was the case, it's not like that means it should be avoided regardless. But as a kid, I was just like, no, I don't want to be girly. Like when I'm like 11 or like younger, and I would hide it. But then I started singing in public. I started just singing all the time. I was like, nah, I'm singing.
What was the first time you sang in public?
Probably like middle school choir, like having a solo.
Oh, nice, dude. Do you remember the song?
Not one little bit.
good.
Dude, I think it was Silent Night.
Oh, nice, dude.
It was a Christmas John.
Yeah, no, that's sick, dude. So what was the reaction when you sang in public for the first time?
I feel like I was nervous. I was trash. My whole life has been a continuous, like, I think I'm the best. I realize I'm trash. I think I'm the best until I then realize I'm trash again 3 months later, and this just keeps happening. And
Where are you at in the cycle now?
I'm a freaking war-torn veteran, my friend. I've really meticulously gone into this, like how you do with a martial art or any kind of skill set, especially coming from learning music. There is a defined way of how you learn music. With rap, it wasn't quite like that. So I kind of took those techniques and brought it into that. I say, now the improvements are so marginal. You know, you have to really hone in. Once you get to a certain level of proficiency, you know, you have to hone in to such an extent. And then even when you cut off that little bit of extra fat or whatever's weighing you down to reach that next level, it's so slight, you know, people don't notice it, but I notice it, you know.
At what point do you become Mildly Brown?
I was about 18, went through a lot of traumatic experiences, as we all have. That's what keeps us connected. But I got this job. I couldn't practice my instrument anymore, which was the only thing that made me feel alive at that time, which is just like, because some of the brutality in which I was experiencing, you know, the horrors of humanity, sometimes they just make themselves known to you. So I started working this job. I started flipping these burgers, man. And while I was flipping these burgers, my boy started showing me rap. Shout out to this dude. He's labeled as God in my phone because he showed me Kendrick, he showed me Lupe, he showed me Nas, he showed me the first M album. And that shit really changed my life. Illmatic by Nas completely changed my life. I heard that. People always confuse me for Spanish. So I would just be like, nah, I'm Molly Brown though. And then I was like, ding, that's my rap name now. So I would just like, it was around when I was 18, I would practice rapping while flipping burgers casually. Yeah. So I went through a really dark phase at that time. I even wrote some real dark music. But rap, like it's almost like Miley Brown was the hero that like came in to take me out of it. You know, Miley Brown represented, it's almost like a caricature of everything that's good in me and everything that could take me out of that.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. You can support by subscribing on YouTube or downloading on your preferred podcast platform. And definitely go do that because it helps us grow and I can have more incredible guests on the podcast. The Mike Squires and Friends podcast is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Looking to broaden your musical horizons as an artist? Discover DistroKid. With its smooth and rewarding music distribution platform, DistroKid offers unlimited uploads while ensuring artists retain 100% of their royalties and earnings. Join the community of over 1 million artists who trust DistroKid to distribute their music across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, and so many others. Having personally used DistroKid since 2018, I can attest to their superiority amongst distribution services. Collaborating with fellow artists has become effortless, especially with the ability to easily send splits of songs, streamlining the creative process. With the DistroKid app, accessing these benefits is now more convenient than ever. Safely sign up or log in with 2-factor authentication, upload releases on the fly, monitor earnings, and withdraw funds from your DistroKid bank. Stay updated on royalties through push notifications, effortlessly share hyperfollow links, manage account details seamlessly, and track streaming stats from Spotify and Apple. Additionally, explore Mixia for professional-grade mastering, DistroVid for music video distribution, and Instant Share for secure file sharing with collaborators, producers, and more. The DistroKid app is available on both iOS and Android. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play Store to revolutionize your music career. Visit distrokid.com/VIP/Mike Squires to get 30% off your first year membership. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Mike Squires and Friends. You know, we talked about it a little bit beforehand, but like how music can act as therapy, you know, and I find for like me too, like, you know, sometimes I get like stressed out and wound up, but it's like, you know, the second I'm working on music, it's kind of like an outlet. You know, do you feel like it's been an outlet for you and, you know?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, practicing was the only thing that kept me sane. And then once I started rapping, I would record thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of freestyle. Then I would go back and listen to it. I'd find every error. I'd find every crutch. I'd find everything that I was relying on to get me through the bars. And then gradually over time, now it's like people can't even tell when I'm freestyling or not. And then I started getting even more in depth. About fucking 6 years into rapping, I started actually writing my shit and actually doing the punching method. I don't know if you know, like, I'm sure you've worked with a lot of rappers.
The punching method,
The punching method. It's classic, bro. Lil Wayne taught it to me. He didn't, like, sit me down and say, hey, buddy. But I learned from him. I have a lot of rap dads, you know. I call them dads. Shout out to my dads, yo.
Yeah,
Lil
who
Wayne.
are some of the people that, like, you know, that helped you along your career?
My rap daddies, bro?
Yeah.
Fucking Lil Wayne, Kendrick, J. Cole. Love that man. Nas. Like, I wouldn't be rapping without Nas, even though I don't rap like Nas at all. A lot of people compare me to Mac Miller, but he's just a white J. Cole.
Yeah.
but I love Mac Miller, though. Like, I'm honored to be compared to him because he's, you know, when it comes to white rappers, you know, there's a lot of stigma, and Mac Miller, just his soulfulness totally brought him out of that, and his care for the music, you know. I feel like a lot of the Caucasian rappers will rap in a very egotistical and trying to flaunt their intellect and trying to flaunt their intellectualism, that's not what hip hop's for, man. I mean, it's a part of it. You spread knowledge, you spread joy, you spread love, but it's also just about capturing the experience and what an artist's job is, what a musician's job is to take the times that we're going through. I mean, art is more accurate history than history because you can feel in the vibration what was happening in that time emotionally. And the history books, they'll always just tell you what they want you to know.
No, I like that. I like that takeaway too. I'm curious though, you know, what does it look like when you start releasing music? You know, when do you release that first Mildly Brown song?
Bro, it's so crazy how confident I was when I was younger.
Well, sometimes you need that confidence to get you through it. Like,
I would
you know what I
drop
mean?
like nothing. I have literally hundreds of songs out. About fucking 90% of them are probably trash at this point when I look back on them. But I was right away dropping. I thought I was good from the jump. I thought I was better than like so many rappers, which I wasn't. And I would just keep dropping like right off the bat. I started rapping. A month later, I dropped my first like mixtape. My boy H God, shout out to H God. He asked me to join his rap group. This is when I really started rapping seriously too, because my musician friends, they didn't want me to rap. I could sing. A lot of people were just like, why would you start rapping? You have a beautiful voice. You can play these instruments. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. But they didn't understand, as I've told you, what happened to me. Miley Brown was needed, bro. Miley Brown was needed to save Corey, you know?
And the thing too, like, I kind of want to talk on confidence a little bit, because I think confidence will actually get you further than a lot of other things, where it's like, you know, I don't think I'm like the best artist in the world, you know what I mean? But I know I'm confident in my craft to like put something out and just continue trying it to get better. But it's like, I don't know. I know people that are so talented, but they're not confident, and it hinders their career. And I know people that are not nearly as talented, in my opinion, but are very confident, and they go a lot further. Because sometimes I think the hustle and the grind is way more important than the actual music. Like, having good music's like 30% of the battle, but like being able to promote it properly, being able to do all these other things are really what gets the ball down the field.
Yeah, the confidence, bro, people thought I was good, even when I was trash, just because of how hard I believed in myself.
Yeah.
You know, I've been referring to myself as the GOAT since basically day one. It's crazy that some people actually believe me. And I look back on those people so fondly because I'm like, wow, like, what were you on, man? How did you, like, not tell me to stop?
Yeah. Well, how are you going to convince other people to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? You know what I mean? You got to believe in it's number one. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, if you don't believe in you and you're all wishy-washy, it's like they're gonna sense that, like basically what you were saying with the music before. They'll catch the vibe, they'll see it, and you know, they'll just be like, nah, he's not the, like, you could just tell he's not even comfortable. You know what I mean? So he's like, he's not the guy.
It's crazy. I always was on that, like, I was very confident in myself, and I never once thought I was bad, but I was on this natural progression because I had set myself up in, there's a structure, you know, there's content and there's structure when it comes to what you do. So if the structure is set up in a way where, you know, the system is created to constantly breed improvement, then, you know, the content, it doesn't even matter. It's going to be whatever it is. You know, people get lost in that. But even though I thought I was good, I thought it was great. I practiced like I don't know how to play. That's how you practice, kids. You got to practice like you don't know how to play.
Yeah, dude, you know, and like, I can tell you're somebody who has confidence because, bro, you did something that I'm afraid to get a single tattoo. Like, you know, I don't have a tattoo over my entire body. You know what I mean? At what point do you get the face tattoos?
Well, honestly, the face tattoos weren't even that big of a deal because my first tattoo ever was GOAT.
I love that, dude.
I literally, after that, I was like, yeah, I had the vision for the face tattoos maybe like 2 years. I got all my tattoos in a span of 2 years, from like 21 to 23. I haven't gotten them since my tattoo artist moved to Tennessee. I'm trying to get there. I feel like he was him when he talked about tattoos. Shout out to Caveman. When he talked about tattoos, it sounded like me talking about rapping. So I really love his like artistic integrity when it comes to that. Yeah. So I kind of want to get into do the rest of my stuff too, but we need to get some more ink on me for sure.
Which tattoo of yours has like the most meaning to you?
Well, this right here, this is a special tattoo. Aliens in the House, 8th. That's what it stands for. You know, I just lost a very close friend of mine, John the Martian. And he was an alien just like me. And this kind of just represents some of my family who isn't my family, you know? You know, that whole blood thicker than water situation. You know, these people loved me, you know, through all the times where I was crazy because, you know, all that trauma made me crazy, bro. And I used to spaz out all the time. I used to be a complete madman. And so many people, I took out that pain on so many people. And these guys, they always like, they had mercy on me and they forgave me so many times until eventually like that faith in me growing up and getting past that, you know, came into fruition. And now I can thankfully say I don't be spazzing out at people anymore.
When you say spaz out, what do you mean? Like, what's something you would be doing?
Oh, bro. like foaming at the mouth anger over things. Like, it was just the trust. My trust was so messed up by what happened. And that fight or flight sensor got all messed up in my head. So certain things I would interpret as serious danger, even though it wasn't. And I hurt a lot of people, you know? Sorry, guys.
Well, yeah, sometimes, and sometimes it takes a step back from like, it's hard to see things when you're in it, right? You know what I mean? So like, I know I've had moments in my life too, where it's like, when you're in fight or flight mode, sometimes it's just hard to think straight because it's just like, you're trying to figure out a lot of heavy choices, a lot of big choices in the moment. But then going back, you're like, oh, maybe I could have done that better. But it's just, I think it's part of life and just growing as a person, and it's like, I know we haven't spent a lot of time together, but I don't know, it's been chill. It's like, what I mean? Like, you don't strike me as somebody who would like
the sacrifices,
foam at the mouth.
The sacrifices have been made. These brothers of mine, they held me down through that time so that people like you can meet me and never have to experience that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Do you have any advice for somebody who like might be going through a tough time now, where it's like, maybe they're foaming at the mouth, and to get to a place where they're more calm and maybe happier?
Well, if you feel intense, I know you can feel it coming when it comes. So just wait. If you feel like a situation is getting tense and the conversation is about to devolve into something that isn't productive, then just leave. You always have that option. You can say, hey, I love you, but I'm about to get to a place that I don't like, that isn't going to be good for us. So I'm going to go take a second and just think and calm myself down. Always just taking that step back, getting behind yourself, respond, don't react. I've reacted so much. It took me hundreds of times of doing that to get there, and I know it's easier said than done.
Yeah, no, and I think that's great advice too, because you don't want to be so quick to react. You can really take those moments to like, dude, trust me, there are like some moments where, and I'm very chill at this point, but there are some moments where it's like, you get some news and it's like the opposite of what you were working for, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing, if you can find humor in every situation. Sometimes people don't like that I find things funny like now, but like, I was like, what do you like? Okay, it's like, we did a project, it lost all its money. I was like, you want me to just get angry, or you want me to just laugh and just on to the next thing?
Sometimes you just gotta laugh at the universe and the way it does things, because we don't know. There's so many things we don't know about what will work. I mean, even this information also helps me a lot with my stream, because sometimes my streams will be a complete dud. Yeah. And I could always react and be like, oh, everything was for nothing. Oh, they're not here. What's going on? Or I can just end the stream, take a second, reframe things. Frame control, baby. That's what it's all about. And then head back on there with that confidence and that energy, and then boom, voila, it goes better.
Well, let's talk about your Twitch streaming, because you've amassed a following on there.
TikTok,
that's what I meant.
Yes, sir.
So on TikTok, how many followers do you have on there now? Do you know?
At about 255K.
That's great, dude. So you amassed that by freestyling on live?
Literally, it was completely manual.
So talk to me about, like, tell me the story of like what made you decide to do that, getting into it, and the moment that you saw that was successful.
Bro, it was like the perfect storm, It's luck. My ex-girlfriend made me a TikTok. I didn't post on it for a while. I posted one video, got a couple thousand views. I'm like, oh. I posted a couple more videos. I posted a meme video that got 600,000 views, brought me up to 3,000 followers on TikTok. I learned I could go live. I hop on live, I start freestyling, I notice, oh, there's always 50 to 100 people in here. So I'm thinking to myself, immediately I start scheming. I'm Ed and Eddie as fuck. I'm like, okay, if I do this every single day and I get this person, one person at a time, and then carry the one divided by two, if I can, and then eventually I knew that if I just kept going, and I already was like, I freestyled every day at that point already, because that's just a way of life. It was like, it's very spiritual to me. I would freestyle, I would get present, and I would watch my body rap from inside of my body. And I would be like, I'll have whole different thought. I'll be thinking about what I want for dinner while I'm rapping, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing it. I am doing it, like, it's my body, but I wish people could see what it's like for me, because I just go behind myself. That's what that flow state is like, any craft you can get there with. But since I knew I had that, it was just perfectly designed for me to just keep going and going and going. And it took a while. So many schemes have been done. At first I was just rapping, no text on the screen, just me rapping. Then I throw some text on the screen, I freestyle your comments. That starts losing momentum. I like start this sign that's like, if you follow me, I rap your name. That works for a while. That got me to 100K just off that. I went from 30K to 100K in a month off of just follow me and I rap your name.
That's crazy.
Then they patched that. They started like like follow baiting. Don't do that. So then I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna rap their names, and I'm about to reveal some secrets right now. But sometimes I just say, thank you, Chris, for following. And nobody named Chris even followed me, but then I just watched 20 people just follow me in that moment.
It's really a genius strategy, dude. Well, you know what's funny? Like, it's a smart strategy because I've seen artists at concerts, right? Like, let's say I'm like the opener, right? Mm-hmm. And I learned this recently. I didn't even know people were doing this, but it was so genius. But they would have their friends like in the crowd, but like mixed out and like spread out, like cheering and getting hype. So that other people in the crowd would be like, yo, like, how do they know all the words to the song? Like, why are, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a genius strategy when you do things like that, because it's like people, you know, it's kind of, what's it called? Like a, not a hive mind, but it's like a mob mentality, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Where like, if some people, like, listen, if there's nobody in the line for this food restaurant, you're not going to think it's good. If the line is all the way down the block, like, you know, you're going to be like, dang, what's going on over there?
That must be the za.
So I think it's actually a genius strategy doing that too.
Oh yeah, man. It's took a lot of little tweaks. There's so many things you can't do on live. You know, I've had my shit like suspended so many times. You know, I've mastered the art of rapping without cursing. You know, I can curse without cursing. That's how far it's
But
gone.
honestly, that's good, dude. Because like I think, and you know, as I move forward too, like even with the podcast, with my music, everything, I'm trying to pull back from cursing because it makes you more, you know, mainstream, and there's more opportunities that'll come from it. You know,
definitely.
So I think actually that's smart that you do that too. But even though I know the algorithms are against it anyways.
No matter what, that algorithm is always going to be one step ahead of you. But
yeah, one thing we spoke about before we got onto the pod is, you know, like you're grateful for the streams going up. You're grateful for, you know, what you found, but it's not exactly what you wanted to be doing.
Yeah. Did I see myself rapping names all day? No. But I see the way it's a sacrifice, you know? Just like the other thing we're talking about is artistic merit, you know? Obviously, I'm a sensitive person. I care about art. I would die for it. But I know that if I don't play the game, nobody is going to be able to receive what I'm doing anyways. And then it's just like, it's selfish, man. If I were to just do it my way and be like, oh, nobody wants to hear my music, even though I'm not doing anything to work with where their minds are at, you know, with this social media addiction, with this dopamine addiction, where they need something to drag them in. They need something, bro. Whatever that hook is, you know. I seen some guy, he like is holding a plate of food and then it just falls out of his hand. Then his song starts, worst case scenario, I don't eat.
Oh, I love that dude. Yeah.
That dude's amazing, but it's a prime example of just like the way he just pulled that attention, and he didn't just put his song there and just stand there.
But he also, what I like about that guy in particular is that he made it his own. Like I don't see a lot of other people doing that, but I think you nailed it right on the head. And I always say it's a game, dude. You know what I mean? It's like you're going back and forth, you're making fine tweaks to figure out what works and what doesn't. You know what I mean? So it's like, and you have to play the game. Dude.
Yeah.
Like I've talked about it on the podcast before, but it's like, you know, it kind of goes back to what I was saying. I have homies that are incredibly talented, but they don't play the game. Yeah. So, you know,
they get,
yeah.
You see it.
You get, and they get frustrated, you know? And like, it's tough though, because it is a balance. Cause like, you know, the artist in you wants to do this. Like even I've made changes to like projects I've made because I know that they would stream better or perform better if I did it a certain way, you know? But then, you know, I think the thing is when you know they'll work a certain way, you know, it's like, how can you make that thing your own?
Yeah.
So that's like something that I've learned. But yeah, no, I want to talk to you more about this too, and the mental health behind it, because there is like a lot of dopamine and like, the, you know, especially when you're getting those numbers, you're getting up to 250,000 followers. It's like, you could feel like you're on top of the world, but then simultaneously like things in your life are going crazy. So you're like, how the hell do I have this giant amassed following on TikTok? But like, you know, life isn't exactly where I want it to be.
Fucking struggling to find somewhere to live or not really to eat anymore. You know, I'm thankful that there's always food in my stomach now. That's where it's come to. I used to have to do all kinds of nefarious means to put food in my stomach and pay bills and stuff. But, you know, even just going on stream and seeing like if it's a bad stream, like the way that can get you, like you'll get struck with all this fear of just like, man, is it done? Is it cooked? Am I like, is this over? Like, but then like just going back and forth between that negative voice and that positive voice in your head where this guy's always like, oh, see, this stream didn't go good. It's all going to go downhill from here. You're fucked. Your life is over. And then this guy's like, nah, bro, think of all the hearts you've touched every single time I've gone on stream, whether it's one person or whether it's 1,000 people, whether it's 10,000 people, whatever. You know, there's still someone's heart being touched. And I'll see those people all the time on my stream come in and be like, yo, like, you fucking saved my life this day. You know, that's so fucking important, bro. And that's why people should be posting anything, even if you don't think the idea is that good. You know, I'm trying to post more right now. My content game isn't as strong as my live streaming game. I've like figured out live streaming in a way where I know that if I create multiple layers of stimulation, the views will go crazy. You know, I'll be right there, I'm rapping their names. I got a guy standing in the background so far that it looks like he's standing on my shoulder and he's wiggling around. And if they send a gift, he does a backflip. And then we're outside, so they're like, are you really outside right now? It's a green screen. It's like all these layers of stimulation is what caused it to go. With the video content, I imagine it works somewhat the same, but...
So from my experience too, and it's like, I've just got like detached from the results because I'm just going to post what I want to post. And if it goes, it goes. You know what I mean? And then sometimes, you know, I'll post something for a second time and it does better the second time. But, you know, it's like, dude, one of my most popular efforts right now is about me cleaning a fucking Macy's building. My bad to swear. I said I was going to stop swearing. But, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, I feel, so here's how I honestly feel. Like, I'm actually really grateful it happened because I think it actually ended up shifting my purpose in life a little bit. Wow. Where I talked to you a little bit about this, where it's like, you know, I might be taking a career shift because, you know, I saw, and this is kind of relates to your stream, where it's like you see how it positively impacts people. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, maybe I didn't see myself as like this dude, like as this community figure, you know, who wanted to help out the community originally, but I was able to do something. And now I'm like, oh, what if I like really doubled down and tried? Like, what if you doubled down on the stream and tried to like, I don't know, do a stream for charity, like, you know what I mean? Just, I don't know, trying to figure it out.
That would be hard. That would be fine. I want to do a 24-hour stream for my birthday. It's coming up August 18th.
Oh, you should do it, dude.
And I think finding a charity of some sort to be like sponsoring it for would be fire.
So my question to you is like, you know, your TikTok is monetized. So you make money when you do these live streams.
Yeah, I'm basically crowdfunded. They send gifts, and I do different things to incentivize this gifting.
Like galaxies and stuff like that?
Yeah, galaxy for this, galaxy for that, galaxy for this.
Can you walk me through the process? Because I think there's a lot of people who, you know, may not understand the monetization of TikTok and, you know that you can even make money on TikTok.
There's so many ways to make money on TikTok. I mean, I've bumped elbows because I went to like the TikTok Grammys and like met all these people and received so much game for so many people. Some people, they just do TikTok shop and they get items from the shop. They make videos about it all the time and they cake up like that. For me, I'm on live. I know that I'm generating a certain amount of viewership. Let's say I have 500 people in my stream at the moment.
Yeah. Is that the most you've had? What's the most you've had?
I'll hold 1,000 to 2,000 in there
dude.
At a time on a good day. And let's say I got the amount of people in there. If you don't have anything to throw out there, like anything, bro, like literally, like I have my boy throwing pies in my face for galaxies, you know, like I've tried anything, but whatever it is, as long as you have something, you can't just go out there and be like, all right, I can't wait for like somebody gift me. Like, you know, you gotta like,
you gotta be entertaining.
Yeah, you can do it in jest, you know? Like
rule number one in the entertainment industry, be entertaining.
Yeah, seems simple, but yeah, like adding all these aspects where you just throw it out there. If you got 500 people and you say, hey, send me a galaxy, I'll make up a whole theme song for your sitcom.
What can you make on a stream though? Like what's the best you've done? Are you like, am I allowed to ask that?
Bro, I've made like 2 G's from one stream before.
That's incredible,
but
dude.
Average is like 100, 200. If like 200 a good day, 100 pretty standard. Sometimes like right now I'm having a little bit of like they're changing certain guidelines on TikTok, so they're kind of like getting away from the they keep flagging me for inauthentic inducing gifts or whatever. I'm just like, I'm just letting them know, man.
Yes. So walk me through that $2,000, you know, live stream. So you get on live. What does that day look like?
Bro, that day I was just streaming, rapping, doing my normal thing. I do the same thing every time. I call it the stick, or I call it technique A. Technique A is when I freestyle your names on the thing. Technique B is when I freestyle your names at 500 viewers. That gives me a little break. Lets me just sit there, talk to the people. Sometimes they like when I just rizz them, you know, hit them, rizz them with the tism type shit. And this day, There's these things called TikTok battles. This is another good way to monetize your TikTok. And you don't need a lot of people, bro. I know people who make 20 times more than what I make, and they have fucking not even a percentage of the amount of viewership I get just because of the way they do things, the way they set up their community. There's these things called battles where you match with another person's live. You start the battle, and whoever gets the most gifts wins the battle. So, and there's kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like doing it. There's a little bit of like some sneaky psychology going on there, you know? But one day I was doing it that day, and some really rich guy, it be coming from one guy. It was one guy, bro. And he just dropped that shit on me. So shout out to that guy.
Bro, yeah, dude. And when you say like sneaky, like I kind of understand that, where it's like, you know, explain to me what you mean, because then I'll tell you what I think.
Well, you don't say shit like, hey guys, you got to send these gifts. You got to send me money right now. So I can, when you say, guys, we got to win. Teamwork, we got to win. We can do this together. You know?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Because, dude, I like in entertainment, I hate some of this. Like, I hate all of the sneaky money, dude.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, there are things that have kept me jaded since my youth. You know, I always hated like showcases that you have to like pay to get on.
Oh yeah, bro.
Dude, I've always hated,
hands.
Dude, bro, there's like so many scams. I hate like, and I mean, sometimes there's value in this. I understand where people do streams where like, you know, they like listen to music and you have to pay to get your music stream. And it's cool to have people react. And sometimes the content is worth it. But like, you know where I draw the line is like when people are trying to sell a dream. And that's what I like. You'll never see me get more mad when it's like, you know, if someone was to do an opportunity, like with some of those showcases I've seen, I'm sure they're happening all over the country, but it's like a showcase where it's like, oh, come perform your song. We're going to have A&Rs, people there. And like nothing ever happens
bro.
From anybody ever.
That is such a waste of time and money. If you want to do showcases, do them for fun. Do them for practice, for experience. If you're a new artist, yeah, go to showcases. I've been in this game for over 10 years. I don't need to go to a showcase. If I do it, it's because I just want to. Oh,
that's the clock I told you.
It's go time. But yeah, if I'm doing it, it's because it's going to be a good time. I want to perform my friends. I want to maybe even just to show a new audience my song and just see some genuine reactions. But yeah, you're not going to blow up from going to a showcase. That A&R, like, oh, I got Dave East at the event. Dave East don't care about you.
It's tough, dude. It really is tough, dude, because I just say that too, where it's like, I think artists should be a little bit more weary and double check things, because I think there's a lot of people that'll get discouraged. You know what I mean? Like if you're new in the game, you're a brand new artist, you know, you don't understand how slimy some of these people can be. They're out here trying to sell a dream, and it's like, you know, it really is just scams, dude. And I like, it kills me, bro. But that's why like I put my integrity and stuff, like where it's like, dude, I probably could be way better off than I am financially, but you'll never catch me do some shady shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I would rather be broke and keep my integrity and keep it a buck with people, you know? And dude, my guy, but there are people that like, you know, I came in the game as a music video director. There are people that I would discourage from doing a music video because like, I'd be like, bro, it's not the best return on your investment. You know what I mean? It's like, you're going to spend all this money on me. It's like, bro, like, to be honest, we're probably better off doing TikTok clips right now. We're probably better. Like, if you really want to do it. And it's like, to be honest, I don't want to do the TikTok clips. You know what I mean?
None of us do.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I think just being like honest in music and just being weary about how you spend your money and like, you know, trying to keep your bottom line as low, you know, just trying to keep the money you spend as low as you can and doing as much as you can on your own, but also trying to maintain the best quality. You know what I mean? So it's like a balance, but
man, tightrope.
Yeah.
Tightrope walk.
But yeah, no, you kind of got me on a small rant where it's just like, I basically am doing this rant because I just don't want these artists to get hurt, because all it takes is, let's say there's the best artist. He's coming up right now, dude. And he goes to one of these showcases. He gets scammed for a good amount of money. In my eyes, like nothing happens. He's like, oh man, like that could discourage the next big artist. You know what I mean?
People need artists, bro. I mean, like I said, it's our job to capture this time. You know, a true artist, then there's a lineage. You know, I can trace my shit back to Bach. You know, like Bach wrote the solo cello suites. A dude, damn, I don't even remember his name. Pedro, no, not Pedro.
Pedro Pascal?
Nah.
No? Like the dude
that's the name that's in my head right now. You got to take. Damn, it's over.
No, it's all good, dude. It's all good. So
some guy found those suites. Those suites ended up in the Paulo Casal, something like that. Casal is definitely his last name. He was the first person to learn.
Oh, yeah.
It was sitting in a pawn shop for 300 years. It was sitting in a stack of papers and nobody knew that existed. He played it for the first time. He taught a lady named Francesca Church. Francesca Church taught my cello teacher when I was a kid. And this guy put some hope in my heart.
Well, bro, that brings up another good point is that, you know, I think artists will drop songs and they'll just stop promoting them. Like when it's like, dude.
Bach, it was a good one. You should have kept pushing that one.
I know, dude. Bach, Bach, you just fucking, Bach, you gave up, dude. You like, bro, it could have been the one, dude. But no, the point I'm saying is like, you don't know when songs are going to go, dude. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, the song that you have out right now, maybe it hasn't done what you thought it would, but maybe a year and a half from now, you post a video and the whole thing changes, dude. Like Lizzo's music didn't put, like those songs were out 3 years before they got momentum. Same with Macklemore, dude. The Can't Hold Us song, that like very popular, dude, that was out for, I think it was like 4 years before it like actually popped off. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't give up on your music. Bach didn't, you know what I mean? It's like
I'm about to be, I've been promoting some of my older songs again because I remember how I felt about them when I dropped them. And I still think that they're amazing pieces. So I've just been like getting back into promoting them even though it's over a year old. I'm like, yeah, this still has some life.
Yeah, I want to get back to, I want to talk about some of the TikTok stuff, but before, I want to hear you give a pep talk to Johann Sebastian Bach about dropping his music and like being consistent.
Bach Choi. Big Baki boy, listen to me. I know you in the church getting that breesh, all right? But you got these songs, the Preludium and the solo cello suites. Pretty sure it's the first composition for an individual instrument that was ever made. I know you're like, you don't even speak English. You're a German guy in the 1400s, but you should really, you know, maybe push that a little harder.
I'll play Bach. I'll be like, yo, man, I'm not really feeling it today, dude. I don't feel like locking in.
Bach. Today is just today. You have to think about the bigger picture. Yes, you might not feel it today, but you just push through it, and tomorrow's a new day. You might feel, you know, every day is a new life.
You right, mildly. Thank you, dude. That's how I imagine that playing down. But let me stop being silly and get back into TikTok. Because I really because I'm really fascinated by, you know, how long did it take you to go from 0 to 250,000?
Well, I guess it's been about 3 years since I started doing it for real. Every day. There was 1 month I took off because I was just pushed to my brink.
So curious, how did taking that 1 month off affect your momentum?
It kind of allowed me to start a new momentum.
Talk to me about that.
I was worried about it, and I'm like, every single time I would take a day off, I would notice significantly less views when I came back. So I'm like, you know what? If y'all are going to fuck me just for taking a single day off, I'm taking a month. And I was totally engaging in so much debauchery. If I were to take a month off right now, I'd be on my health. I'd be on my health kick. I was on my anti-health kick. I'm like, I'm doing it all. Yeah. I was drinking every day, all that. I was like, I'm tired of being locked in. But it didn't thwart my momentum as much as I thought it would, and it ended up getting me. That's like, I'm still working off that. And low-key, I'm kind of close to where I need to do that again. Like, I have like basically a broken rib, but I've been rapping every day, and apparently it hurts to rap with a broken rib.
Wait,
you have to like,
hold the heck up, dude. What do you mean you have a broken rib, dude? Like currently sitting next to me right now?
Right now, bro. Like,
wait,
I was playing basketball. My boy elbowed me with the people's elbow. And that was it. Hurts to breathe.
Bro, you gotta get that looked at, dog.
I'm looking at it. It's all good.
Oh, no. Does it look different than the other one?
It's honestly, it doesn't look that different. I don't think it's broken. I'm being dramatic, chat. Fuck you. But it hurts a lot. That's all I can say.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your life, but like you probably should go get that looked at, buddy, dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
You're probably right. If it still hurts bad in a week, maybe I'll do it then. It's just hospitals, bro.
Well, that's what you gotta do. You gotta listen. You gotta go on your TikTok and you gotta do a live stream and be like, "Yo, listen, we're doing today's stream in honor of my rib." You know what I mean? Like, if you send a galaxy, like maybe I can go to this hospital and get this checked out. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, bro. They don't even care, bro. Honestly, the sympathy, if you have goat tattooed on your chest, I don't think the sympathy lives are going to go your way.
No, that's fair, dude. It's interesting though, because I think I saw an episode of Black Mirror. Do you watch Black Mirror? You ever seen it?
I know of what it is.
So there's an episode where the wife, I think, passed away and they were able to like reboot her, but she was only allowed to stay alive in like this radius. And in order to and it was a lot of money to keep her alive. but in order to do it, the husband would go on live and like he would do all these insane things, like he would put like a nail through his hand or something like that to like raise money and stuff like that. It was a very dark episode.
That hits close to home
but
there.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, do you feel like you're doing like what you want to do, or you feel like sometimes that like you're doing what the people want to see?
Truth be told, this shit is killing me. The adrenaline that goes through my body, it's just such an inhumane experience too. I just feel like the human body wasn't even designed like I'm mutating because of the experiences I'm having with like this, like the views jump up, they jump down, they jump up, they jump down. The adrenaline, every time it goes up, the adrenaline soars through my body. I start going crazy. It falls down. I'm pretty good now at being unconnected to results, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at that, but still, I'm only human, man. It still gets to me sometimes. And then, you know.
When you say adrenaline, do you mean like dopamine too? Or like, do you mean like both? Like, because adrenaline to me is like fight or flight, like ready to go.
It's kind of like that because if you have 1,000 people in front of you all of a sudden, it's like, it's go time. It's kind of like a show. Like, do you feel adrenaline when you go on stage in one of them big ass shows you got? You know what I mean? Like
me, like maybe back in the day, but not, dude. And it sucks that sometimes I wish I still had those like butterflies. Sometimes I wish I did feel those like the feelings you have when you do something for the first time.
Yeah.
But now it's like I've kind of just accepted like, oh, this is life now. Like, and you know, with the attention that I've got from like things that have happened recently, the one thing I will say, and maybe you can relate to this, is I just feel like I always have to be on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at any moment, someone could come up to me and say what up, and I'm just.
It hurts me when I'm off, and that's why I stay very prepared, and that's part of why I practice so much in my life, because I don't want to get to that point where an important person like Mike Squires invites you to be on his podcast, and I'm not ready for game time, you know?
Yeah, but I appreciate the compliment, dude. But no, sometimes you just, I always say if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You know what I mean? That's like a quote that I live by. Like, I always tell people that, like, you could tell me right now, like, that I need to, if there was a huge opportunity, and I've done it before, there's a moment I'm going to be able to talk about very soon where I, like, stayed ready and was ready to go, and I was able to pull off something incredible. But, yeah, sometimes, like, if you're not ready, you miss a lot of opportunities. What do you think one of the biggest opportunities of your life has been so far?
I performed at doesn't even seem that big. I performed at the TikTok headquarters a couple times.
That's really dope, dude.
I've been put on TikTok has a TikTok, and through my agency, shout out ATRX, they got me the opportunity to have my live stream just get put on the TikTok.
Yeah, that's sick, dude.
And there was a lot of people up in there, and that was pretty dope. It's almost like, man, it's so crazy. It just feels like a normal day. Nothing even feels that crazy, bro. And like just the amount of stuff that I put myself through, and I can tell you put yourself through so much for this and for the life that you're trying to build. It's like that stuff, when you're so close especially, I always say either camel's back is going to break or I am. And I'm just hoping it's going to be it, because I'm not going to stop until I'm either dead or this works. You know, like whatever it is, you know. And the vision of my life is you know, being more like a Kendrick who can go 3 years without dropping, and I can take the time to really lock in on my artistry, create a beautiful or a masterful piece, you know, an overall, you know, connecting piece like a Good Kid, Mad City, or like an Illmatic, you know.
It's tricky though too, because it's like, you know, it kind of goes back to what we were saying before. It's like what works versus like, you know what I mean? Because if you go disappear right now for 3 years and come back, it's like...
I don't have that luxury right now.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't. You know what I mean? And it's like, it kind of goes back to balancing the art versus what works. You know what I mean? And it's a tough battle, especially when you are so passionate about your art and you really care and want to make the best craft. You know, it's like, dang, like I want it this way, but I know the song's going to perform better this way. So what do I do?
Honestly, I think in that, like with rapping people's names, I find a way to get mine. You know, I find a way to, while I'm saying their name, I'll do that intricate flow patterns that I like to get into, and I'll do that, like, you know, eyes rolling back in my head, and I'll just go for a second. And then, you know, I'll find a way to get mine. You know, there's those little compromises you find. You know, I'm sure in some of those songs where you feel like you made a record that was really like a pop record, you know, you found somewhere in there where there's a part where you're like, yeah, this part right here, this part expresses me truly.
Yeah. Dude, it's funny though too, because it's like, and the real thing of this though is that you don't really get to decide what the thing is for you, because you know, some of my personal favorite songs that I've created are not the ones that went. And I love the songs that have gone, like, you know what I mean too, but it's like, if I was to like, it's funny, if I was to pick like a couple records from my catalog that I'm like really feeling in love, like they wouldn't necessarily correspond with like the views. You know what I mean? So I think there's a balance of making songs that you want to make for you, but also making songs that you know work for the algorithm. You know, in your case, like, you know, your songs versus your live stream. It's like, listen, if I can gain this following from my live stream, even if, you know, you have 250,000 followers, even if 1% of those people go, that's 2,500 people that go listen to your music. And if that 1% becomes fans that actually spend money, you know what I mean? It's like, even at like $1 each, it's $2,500. You know, that's $10 each, 25,000.
That's the good outlook right there. You just, that's the positive outlook of just like, because that 1% is good, bro. You know, like even if it's one person that goes and decides to check out my music, and I don't force it, because if you start promoting other platforms on TikTok, watch your views get chopped.
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, the thing,
so I have to be very crafty.
Yeah, and you know, some great advice that I was given is that you don't need all the fans in the world. If you can get 10,000 people, which like is still a lot of people, but like it seems more achievable. If you can get 10,000 people to put $100 into you a year, it's $1 million before taxes. You know what I mean? And you don't even need that much. That's like excessive in my eyes, but it's like, you know, it's just the point that you can live off your music with a lot less.
I need to get my infrastructure tighter. That's what's difficult. Like, you know, I'm having more people come and help me now. I have a lot of people that help me when I stream. Star's my manager. She goes hard. Shout out to Star. She's been getting me. She got me here. You know, she's been definitely doing her damn thing. And it's nice to actually have people that care. Just having someone that cares about what you're doing can make such a difference, because my brain is so overstimulated and cooked. Once I'm done with the stream, bro, I'm a zombie. You know, all that dopamine, adrenaline, whatever it is, it goes to my body. I turn off that stream, bro, I cannot think straight. I have to sit there for a good 30 minutes and just like, you know, puff on my J and stare at the wall, you know, for a second and just try to recuperate. And it's so hard to do other stuff, man. And then I try to create art too, create my music, try to drop it. You know, that's what she's really helped me with too, is just being like, all right, this is her song, we're dropping this. She signed on my distro because she's dropping my shit, so I don't have to. Like, she's doing these things that are like, you know, it's not that much. Like, you'd think I'd be able to do it too, but I'm torn apart, man. It's obliterating me. I'm just hoping, I don't know. I don't know anything else. All I know how to do is try, bro. That's all I know how to do. As long as, to me, if I'm just wake up every day and I try my best and I know that I can reach these people with the strength that I have, then I'm going to do it.
At this moment in time, like, where do you see your career going, or where do you want your career to go?
I just want to be in that conversation, man, of the greatest. You know, whatever it is. I think just an artist that defines his generation, and like, you know, when they look back at what happened during this time period, they're like, Miley Brown is like a critical component to just the history of humanity and just contributing to humanity as a whole. I think everybody wants to. And everybody has a gift. Everybody has something special that they could give. It's very difficult to discover. I was very blessed in that I knew from the age of 15, they put us at a pep rally in my first band I ever joined. They didn't put us in the pep rally. They put us in the walkway towards the pep rally. When everyone left, they didn't want to go back to class. They surrounded us, the whole freaking school, bro. People were crowd surfing, bro. The principal was in front row taking a video. The security guards had to unplug us, and we still had everyone singing. We were playing Seven Nation Army, and everyone was like, oh, 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 oh. We had them singing, and we were still going. And it was just like, I knew right there, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And since that moment, that was a huge, like, you know, the universe. I'm a very spiritual guy. I call it the universe. Some people call it God. Some people call it Allah, Shiva, Buddha, whatever they want to use as their deity and their way to get through to it. But it's just like, the universe be cooking, man. I don't know why sometimes the universe blesses certain people and certain other people don't get blessed. It's like the universe isn't biased. The universe enjoys each experience equally. It's us that have the bias. As humans.
And you know, like, one thing to kind of add on to that, but I also think you play a lot into what happens to you. You know what I mean? Like, you can really you got to lock in, but like, you know, you really control your own destiny. Like, sometimes there are situations that you can't control, but in other instances, if you have, like, for example, I know this is like a little thing, but the other day I had a show that I was doing, and they had a lot of tickets sold for the show. There's 2,000 tickets sold for the show. But by the time I went on, because I was the opener early, It's like 15, 20 people there in front of the stage. So I could either go up on the stage and just perform in front of those people, but that's not what I did. I went around and I spoke to everybody in the crowd for the last 20 minutes I had before my set. And I was like, yo, I need you guys to go up. By the time I went on and finished, there was over 1,000 people there.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I think you really you have more power than I think most people assume. You know what I mean? I think you really can do a lot of change in your life, but you just need to figure it out and be willing to take those steps, you
Definitely.
know?
Yeah, I hear that. Not to say that just because the universe be cooking that I can't cook too,
Yeah.
If I cook.
If you cook with the universe.
Yeah, if I'm cooking, the universe is doing that too, you know what I mean? When I take those steps, just because some people get spiritual and then they just sit there and just wait. I'm not really on that time. I see even if my body is moving and I'm thinking oh, I'm gonna do this and it's gonna make this change. I also in the back of my mind think that, the universe is kind of just letting things unfold. But I'm only in my body, so I'm going to do what I can do. And I do believe that, yes, when there's things I can't change, I can control how I look at it. I can control my frame on it,
I think you have more control, and when I say you, I mean anybody.
Yeah,
you have more control than you think you do. You know what I mean? Because you really can change your perspective. And, that's not to say bad things are going to happen and feel your feelings, but
yeah.
Just know that you can go through it. And I know as somebody who's been through things myself, and I know you've been through things, as you go through these things, it kind of change. And I think actually going through things is important because, as life goes on and situations arise, you're like, oh, I've been through something like this before. It's I know how to deal with this. You know what I mean?
That's the purpose, man.
So
Pain is important.
So I don't think if you're going, I'm talking to the people out there, if you're going through a tough time now, it's don't let it get you down, feel your feelings, do what you need to do to get through it, but just know it's not the end, that there is more, you never know why something's happening. You know?
Very true. I'm so into this world of seeing the most horrible things can happen, but I see the way they play in the grand musical, how they unfold, as humans in our perspective, we see them, we're like, damn, this sucks for me or whatever it is, it's whether it's people passing, I recently lost one of my best friends, seriously, 3 weeks ago, one of my best friends in the world passed. And that day I was streaming his funeral. That day I was streaming. I was still doing everything I could because I'm not just I know what he would want me to do. I know that he would want me to take that and that was when it was time. I'm not religious or anything like that, but there's a book in the Bible called Job, where Job gets his whole bag fumbled, the whole book. And even him, he's still just it's kind of a lesson in when life gives you that fucked up shit, you need to just you were grateful all the time when you had those blessings. You can't be grateful when life is giving you this challenge.
And I truly believe that if you're in a negative mind state, more bad things will keep happening. I've seen people that just will not leave that place and I don't want to say it's not necessarily victim, but it's more they just.
This always happens to me.
A glass half empty.
I have the worst luck.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Never catch me saying that.
You know what I mean? Because it's I saw it, I literally saw it eat one of my friends alive, dude, where it's just he was not able to see the glass half full at any point. And, time after time again, it was something bad was always happening. And I was I checked him. I was dude, you got to just stand up and face all these things because every time you talk to me, it's something negative, dude.
Yeah.
And I promise you, life's not that bad. But the way that you're looking at it, it's you're almost waiting for the next bad thing.
Man.
So it's get it together, dog.
That stuff's tough, man. I don't know how to help people through that. I try to just lead by example, man.
That's I think the best way to do it.
I've tried being bro, you gotta do this. I have a lot of people who have looked up to me in my life. I'm always creating these little communities. I'm always just blazing forward in whatever way I can, and people will come. And some people, I've tried to be bro, you got to do it like this. A lot of people don't like hearing anything, man, and I understand it. It can be difficult to hear from someone who's your age, But I don't look at it like that. I just look at I have information. I want to give it to you. I love you.
Yeah, but I think in situations like that, just being there for the people, being willing to listen, and just know that if you ever need me, here to help. You know what I mean? But it's but sometimes I think people got to find their own thing too, because the truth of the matter is, what's worked for Mike Squires might not work for Mildly. What worked for Mildly might not work for Mike Squires. You know what I mean? Because everyone's kind of got to find their own thing. Because it's like, if there was this one cookie cutter path, everybody would do it and it would work for everybody. Yeah. But the truth is, kind of going back to what you said before, it doesn't work for everybody. You know, sometimes the blessings don't lean that way, but it's like, you also just got to keep trying new things, you know, and figuring out, like, listen, I think I'm a great music producer, but I don't know if that's my life's purpose. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think just being open to other ideas and seeing what happens and being able to adapt, because for all you know, your live streams open up an incredible opportunity for you that you don't even know exists yet. Yeah. And you never know who's looking in the live streams. You know, it's like you have, I don't know, Will Smith in there, and then next thing you know, you're freestyling with Will Smith. You know what I mean? It's just, life is so crazy how it happens. Yeah. You just got to try, put yourself out there and just see what happens.
I definitely look at it like that, you know, every single time. If I'm going to get, whether I get 10,000 views or 100,000 views on a stream, I know that, like, you never know. I look back at my shit. I've gotten, I don't even know how many millions of views on my stream in its lifetime.
Yeah.
Who knows who stopped in there at what point? There could be things. I like to think there's things behind that I don't even know about, blessings that are just coming my way that I have no idea exist.
Yeah. Well, Miley, I got one question for you, dude. If you had a message to the world, like one thing that you'd want to be known for, what would that be?
Inside of you lies the key to attain everything that you desire. You have the capability to do something truly incredible and amazing. And I just want to represent that a person can do that, you know? Like, a person can do something so incredible that it blows your freaking mind to the point where you have to go do something incredible. Or you could just enjoy it. Or you can just enjoy the show. But
yeah, no, I'm right there with you, dude, because I really think, like, I mean, I'm excited to talk about it, but my Macy's thing was highly inspired by watching somebody achieve greatness. You know what I mean? I saw somebody achieve greatness, and then I just was, and it's not like I was like trying to do something. I just was like, I was feeling so good. I was feeling so inspired. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this building clean. I'm tired of looking at it, you know? And I know it's a silly, dumb thing, but it's like, you know, that domino effect changed my life.
Yeah.
So you just never know. But Mildly, I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast. If people want to connect with you, find you, how can they?
I'm called Mildly Brown. I'm the only Mildly Brown in the world, because it was a very specific set of encounters that led me to come up with that name. You can find me on TikTok, Mildly Brown, Spotify, all things. I'm dropping a lot of music, a lot of heat coming out soon. I'm dropping a song August 18th. That's my birthday. It's called Crack a Flow.
I heard you're doing a 24-hour live stream, maybe?
I'm trying to do a 24-hour live stream on my birthday. You know, it's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, well, Mildly, thank you for coming on, dude. And I think it was a good episode. We covered a lot. I think there's a lot of TikTok insight that normally doesn't get covered on the podcast. And I think, you know, just things about going through life and, you know, mindset.
We touched a lot, man. There's infinite stuff that we could talk about. And, you know.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about podcasts, dude, is that, you know, you can always come back.
Yo, facts, man.
Yeah, but my guy, thank you for coming on, dude.
Appreciate you, bro.